Hello and welcome to this episode of Ancient Goddess. I am so grateful for everybody that's listening. I am just full of joy that people have taken time out of their lives to listen to me. It's beautiful. Thank you so much. I have taken several days off. I needed to rest. Believe it or not, when you say the things that I say, you release a bunch of fears I've released fear from my own energy, so therefore I've released it from the collective. It's a real beautiful thing. But I'm going to be having to make some changes to the podcast because I feel it's necessary to expand it in a different way. We'll see where it goes. The current platform I'm using, it's not allowing my new season of the Voice of the New Earth to even be searchable. Like, the platform said I didn't have to resubmit to those platforms, but it's not showing up. A whole new season isn't showing up. And I haven't taken the time to figure it out yet because I've had to rest. I've been off dreaming and, off in other places. So when that occurs and I need to rest, I listen to myself and I listen to my body. I'm just a beginner podcaster. And I only did this because my higher self was pushing me and guiding me to do something different and to get out there in a bigger way and not hide and not pretend like I'm not here. So that's the reason I've done this. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the children again. Yeah, again. I know. I've been at the grocery store a couple of times over the last several days. I see parents with shopping carts full of processed foods and toxic, poisonous foods, nothing of any nutritional benefit whatsoever, just toxic, processed, poisonous foods. Parents' grocery shopping carts just loaded, stockpiled with it, And I have some notes about the children, but I'm going to freestyle it for a second. And I'm just going to say, look, people, you can't keep poisoning your children out of convenience. Their minds, their bodies, and their spirits. Out of convenience because it's convenient for your life. See, I used to do that. I used to just make sure my children went to school, make sure I followed all of those fucking rules. And guess what I learned? That I was hurting them. Because I didn't know the truth. Surely I couldn't have given them the truth. But once I came into the truth and I had my awakening and I saw what the truth was, well, I felt responsible to make sure that other people see it. That includes my own children. Today I would never feed my children processed food. I would guide them against it. I would guide them to eat fresh fruits and vegetables and to be more conscientious of what they're putting in their bodies. My oldest daughter, who's 29, she kind of, man, I remember when my awakening happened and she looked at me and, I was this whole new person and she said, well, God loves her. It's just the truth. It's okay. I'm not ashamed. I didn't know any better. When people don't know any better, when you don't have access to your consciousness because your psyche's somehow blocked by some type of past traumatic event, or your heart's closed off, or your mind is closed, or whatever. You just don't have access to your own self. You change when you do. You're not left with any more choice. You change. So, what I saw, let's just talk about the school system and the truth of what the school system truly is, okay? First of all, in order to get your child into those school systems, they have to have a birth certificate, which is a document saying that the state owns your child. They give those out at the hospitals. Parents are literally signing for a birth certificate. I mean it. I'm not letting anybody off the hook here. I'm going to just shoot you straight and tell you what the fuck the truth is, because that's what love does. So they have to have this birth certificate, and then they have to have a list of vaccines. So before the COVID thing, there were vaccines. I don't fucking know what's all in them things, but I certainly wouldn't advise anybody to put their children through rigorous shots of whatever the fuck kind of stuff they're putting in those things. Do we even know? Can we even trust them to tell us the truth? No, we can't. So schools, they're camps. They're literally training grounds for children, and their minds are being poisoned with inaccurate history. You heard what I said? Inaccurate history. Because if history were true, then the truth of our extraterrestrial origins would be included. Children would be encouraged to discover themselves. They would be encouraged to create and to be creative. Let me tell you something. When I was 5 years old, 5, dude, I could cook, I could clean, I could take care of myself because my parents were just gone. The state didn't care. There wasn't anything called fucking truancy, so I got away with not going to school. It was fucking great. So I guess, I'm privileged in that way that I didn't have all of those indoctrinating, I did attend a little bit of the social experiment called education, but not much. And I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Did I have to unlearn and reprogram all the traumas and heal the trauma? Yeah, but not getting an education did not hurt me. It did not fuck with my intelligence, none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I am just divinely intelligent without their false indoctrination system. Because that's what it is. It's a false system. They're just forcing people, because the parents, are mind controlled and think that their children have to go to school because the parents think they have to go to fucking work. No one has to go to work. Nobody has to go to work. Unless you want to, of course. If it's your dream life, to make fucking Starbucks coffee and that's what makes you happy, so be it. I don't care. I'm not going to go drink your Starbucks because it's full of fucking toxic sugar and toxic dairy products and God only knows what else. Probably using tap water, poisonous tap water to make the ice machine. It's just all sick. It's all fucking sick. So, schools are nothing more than concentration camps creating a future labor force. More soul harvesting. That's all it is. More life force harvesting. That's all that is. Instead of allowing children to just grow and develop into their own self, at the child's own pace. Let me just read something. I've got to pull it up quickly. Hold on, I wasn't expecting this. 1 second. So, children's divine laws, the right of choice, the right to truth, the right to safe food, the right to health care, the right to safety, the right to voice opinion, the right to clothing, the right to free energy, the right to learn at our own pace, the right to discover themselves without being conditioned. The right of living, the right of belief, the right of bodily autonomy, the right to a home, and the right to money. Children's divine laws. And since all of us are divine children of Prime Creator, well, then those laws apply to all of us. You're going to see a shift really quickly because more parents are going to see clearly what the fuck is going on inside of these schools. Okay? Children deserve to be free to discover themselves at their own pace, to discover nature. They deserve to be a part of nature because they are nature, not stuck in a school all day, forcing them to learn things they're never going to ever fucking use. And instead of teaching our children to grow blueberries or grow flowers or love the planet, nurture the home that they exist on, they're teaching them how they can fit into a sick society. That changes going forward. No one wants their children in that type of environment. No one with a conscience. As a matter of fact, sports and popularity and all of those things in the education camps, those create competition, and it develops our children, and it did it to us too. It develops people into the lower ego, where everybody thinks they're all in competition with one another, instead of just having a clear root chakra and knowing that everyone is equal. Everyone was created in love. Everyone deserves the same intrinsic rights as everyone else. Lower ego behavior is like very competitive. I mean, we've got children rushing to go get on a football field so they can smash each other's heads up against one another, like cause concussions. Do you see how violent that shit is? Like, I'd prefer children art painting together and solving the world's problems. Like, sit all the children down in a room and ask the children how they think the world should be solved. All the problems of how do they feel? Who is listening to the children? Have any of you sat down with your children and asked them, what do you want in your reality? What do you want to experience in your life? I could have told you at 5 years old if someone would have asked me. I knew then that the world was wrong. I've always known. I didn't know what to do about it. I had no idea what to do about it. I really didn't. For a long time, I felt like I was alone, and I didn't have anyone here on this planet that thought like me, knew the things I knew, had the abilities and gifts that I had. And then when my awakening occurred, I immediately started attracting all of the other beings that are just like me. And I know I'm not alone anymore. I know there's approximately 4.5 million of light beings like myself upon the planet right now to ensure the liberation of civilization, to ensure the freedom of humanity, so where they're not enslaved any longer and they live in full abundance and full safety. And mind you, look, people, they really discredited me as a child. They had no idea that I was intelligent as I was. They had no idea that I could just do things on my own. They always thought they needed to come rush in and do everything for me. No, man. If I would have had my own little tiny kitchen with my own little tiny refrigerator and my own little tiny house, I could have managed myself better than any adults ever did. I mean that. If I would have had access to all the things I needed to thrive, I would have. And in a big way. And I'm so grateful that I didn't, because if I would have had it the other way, if I would have had every single thing that a child deserves to have, then I wouldn't be the person I am today, sitting here telling all of my listeners what the children deserve. Because I didn't have those things as a very young girl, knowing I deserved them, but didn't have them. And I knew the whole time that I would have to go through all of that stuff so I could be an adult one day and say, hey, you're not listening to the children. The children are our future. The children are the future. I had some fucking idiot, I mean an idiot, tell me the other day, he sent me something on fucking Facebook that sexual energy was the devil. And if you have sex, then you're feeding demons. I was like, well, that's bizarre, because that's the force of creation and it's how we give birth to children. What are you even saying, dude? We're talking about creation itself. Every single time a child is born here, that's a soul. And that soul has traveled from wherever it wanted to travel from within the universe. Came right here to Earth. And every soul on this planet belongs here. Every soul on this planet has a place. Every soul on this planet matters to me. I hold space in my heart for the whole world. I'm a very divine, special being. And I'm not always laughing, because everything isn't always funny. I have plenty of joy, and I'm in bliss often. But when we start talking about the children, I'm not going to leave behind for the children what I was given. No way. No way. I'm going to make the necessary changes within myself and continue to take the right actions that gives freedom to somebody else. Because I found freedom. I freaking hacked the matrix. I've already broken free from the matrix. I've already created the new systems that takes humanity forward. I just have to continue doing that. That's all that matters. And sharing that information with others. And giving people a fresh set of eyes. You know, the one thing I know for sure, that if you're listening to this podcast, you have an open mind. And you have an open heart. And if you keep coming back, well, it's because you know what I'm saying is true. Imagine some poor little child out there that's got abusive parents. And all the other grown-ups in the world, we all voted and we said, well, we want that child to have the opportunity to be free too. And so we, you know, as a collective, we unite and we come together and say, okay, well, all the children deserve to have every single thing they need so that they can thrive, and they don't need to rely on an abusive parent. If they don't have parents, well, at least all of their basic needs are covered. A shelter, love, money, health care, you know, whatever they want. Our children are seriously the most precious thing in the fucking world. That's why they are attacked. That's why the states want them in public school. That's why they want them to be brainwashed. That's why they were hoping that those cycles would continue. They don't. Full transparency of our galactic truth, where we all come from, what we're all doing here, and liberation for everyone. That's the only thing that's going to occur. And the planetary positions that I am currently holding right now, well, they're pretty fucking powerful positions. And I'm not letting them go. I've been holding them. And I'll have to continue. Because you know what? I made a vow to myself before I came here. And that was that I would get this job done no matter what it took. Didn't matter how much I had to give of myself, what I had to sacrifice in my lifetime to make sure that I was here now and that this mission gets completed. It's all about the children. No more secret freaking, if this is even true, mind you, I know that there's a lot of psychological warfare out there on the internet trying to convince people of ABCD whatever. So no more kidnapping children, no more child trafficking, no more, none of that. No. If all that's true, well, my God, isn't that enough for all of us to unite and take a stand? The fact that everybody's in debt, isn't that enough? The fact that our children are being harmed by this destructive, self-destructive, it's a very toxic, it's an evil society where their minds, bodies, and spirits are being poisoned. I mean, could they all live through it? Sure, I did, but who the fuck wants that? I don't want to just survive. We want to thrive. We totally could be a thriving civilization who respects one another, appreciates one another, and goes out of our way to make sure that other people are happy, other people are provided for, other people feel loved, they feel needed, they feel wanted, they feel cared about. Look, these are all things nobody ever gave to me, and I know I have to give them to myself because they'd look at me as a grown woman. Oh, all these expectations people put on you. I just say these things and I just come on here and I just say what's on my heart. I mean it. That's all I'm doing. And anytime I think about a child being out there that might be scared or being hurt or hungry or doesn't have somewhere to lay their head or they don't have a blanket or they don't have water or they don't really every fucking time I think about it, I feel a hurt inside of me. It just hurts. It's like an emotion. Like, who the fuck would want that happening in their world? I don't. I think if you have a conscience, I think if you have a heart, if you have a soul, I don't think anyone does. People give me so much shit. Somebody told me today, they said, "Oh, Ancient, I think you've just put too much faith in humanity." And I said, well, you know what? I bet it all on humanity before I incarnated here. I knew exactly what could happen. And I took every thought. I calculated every single thing that could potentially happen. And I knew that if I came down here, that I would get through all of that dark shit and I would be the shining light that I am today. And that I would assist in freeing the children. And what an honor. What an honor to be part of something so big that it changes the world forever. The only reason I rest in peace whenever I go to sleep is because I know that my soul is in alignment with Source. I don't worry about anything. But I'm here to tell you, man, God doesn't like evil. And there will be no more evil on this planet. The higher we go, the higher our frequency goes, there's no place for it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of my life. Thank you for caring. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being here on Earth right now, because every single one of us are here for the same reason, and that's to free ourselves from this tyrannical, barbaric nightmare where everybody is seriously, what do they call that? I think the word they use is a dystopian nightmare. I think that's what they call it. Anyways, that's it for today. Been going 25 minutes. That works for me. I remember when I was in college, my psychology teacher, we didn't get along because I just couldn't see things the way she wanted me to see them. She said, "Oh, Emily, you can't just throw the baby out with the bathwater." And I beg to differ. Yes, you fucking can. If it's fucking hurting us as civilization, if it's hurting society, you can definitely, most assuredly, throw it out and get rid of it. If it is holding and oppressing your entire fucking race, your entire species, and causing harm to the whole world, you bet your sweet ass you can just cut it out. And it doesn't have to be here. It's not here, as a matter of fact. I don't know what's going on. People have lots of opinions, lots of lots of shit going on. And I want to say quickly that if that story is true about the girl in Iran who was murdered because her hair was out, if that story is true, because look, I know how they'll play on our emotions, just trigger the entire collective with a story, with green screen technology. But if it is true, this is my statement in regards to that. I honor that girl for the role she played and showing just how senseless the treatment of women are. Trying to oppress us, restrict us, the source of all life. Only fools do that. Only fools do that. Because without the source of life flourishing, no one else flourishes. My condolences to that girl. My heart goes out to her. Like I said, if it's a true story. I don't like my emotions played with. I don't like them manipulated. So I typically come across as if I don't care about some things, but it's whatever. The world's completely mad right now. And as soon as everybody realizes that the solution is in our hands and that we have the power within ourselves to liberate everyone and be free, totally free from this insidious, insane reality. It's what it is. It's insidious and insane. We deserve better. We are worthy of so much more. A world of abundance where everybody lives in abundance and no one is in lack. No child on the planet is hungry. No one on the planet is denied health care. Where we all come together and work together to be the greatness that we were always destined to be. Just think on that. I'm signing out. This is Ancient Goddess. It's been a pleasure. I will return whenever I feel like it. As far as the Voice of the New Earth, I've had reports that people couldn't listen to the two episodes that I uploaded to that season. So this particular episode is going to go into the intro podcast so that it is accessible to everyone. I love you. I commend you. I commend everyone on the planet right now for playing their divine roles and serving in a divine way. Namaste.